Chapter 8 Murphy's Law. Donahue picked up his sketchbook and carefully drew two pictures, a top view and a side view, of the presidential limousine and the follow-up car just behind it. Finding a top view diagram of the limousines had been easy enough, but positioning the cars correctly pushed him to study carefully as many photographs as he could find. Comparing pictures, he noticed how almost simultaneous photos seemed to suggest different stories. One picture had the follow-up car looking slightly to the left. In another one, it appeared to be slightly to the right. Eventually, Donahue decided to place the Secret Service vehicle in his sketch directly behind the presidential limousine. It couldn't be to the left because Agent Paul Landis had reported in his statement to the Warren Commission that he could see the right front wheel of Kennedy's car from his position on the right running board of the follow-up car. And in none of the photos was there convincing enough evidence to place it markedly to the right. The distance between the cars could also be questioned, but strong consensus among witnesses and pictures suggested a 5-foot gap. Donahue reconfirmed his earlier judgments about the position of Kennedy's head at the moment of impact. Where to place the trajectory of the bullet through the skull was still a problem. The 1968 panel report was immensely helpful in fixing the correct point of entry, but it did not pinpoint the exit. The panel did emphasize the disintegration of the bullet, citing small and larger fragments of metal throughout the right side, none on the left side, with the heaviest concentration seen on the front half of the right side. The report provided only a verbal description of what the panel had seen. There were no photographs or x-rays. This spray of fragments on the front half of the inside of the skull prompted Donahue to move his primary exit point farther forward than in his first sketches. It seemed sensible to keep it in the center of the spray, taking this not as an actual exit point, but where it was most reasonable to judge the bullet would have come out if it had gone through the skull intact and undeviated. And using the corrected entrance hole, Donahue now had a new dowel line. From Zapruder 312, he calculated the position of Kennedy's head at the moment of impact. This done, Donahue was able to deduce that the bullet was coming downward at an angle of roughly 7 degrees as it approached Kennedy. Turning to his side view sketch, Donahue drew a gradually rising 7-degree line backward from the president. If his trajectory was correct, the bullet had apparently passed less than a foot above the windshield of the Secret Service car. The line continued on and passed over the rear seat of the convertible at a height of a little over 5.5 feet above street level, then headed gradually up and away toward the Records building. He turned next to his top view picture. Using the left-to-right trajectory dictated by aligning Kennedy's entrance and exit wounds, Donahue drew a line backward from the president. Viewed from above, the line headed back and diagonally over the passenger compartment of the follow-up car, then straight across the car's left rear seat. Donahue looked again at photographs of the Secret Service convertible. Scanning an old magazine from the time of the assassination, he found a picture taken by bystander Phil Willis. Willis was across the street from the book depository as the limousine made its turn onto Elm. After the president's car and the Secret Service convertible passed him, Willis swung his camera around to follow the receding motorcade and snapped the shutter. The picture captured a rear view of the limousine as it approached the Stemmons freeway sign. Willis had said he heard the first shot and instantly took the picture. In the distance, Abraham Zapruder can be seen atop the grassy knoll, his Bell & Howell camera held steady to his eye.